It is officially 8:30, so I feel okay to get started. If everybody else is good, how are we feeling? How many days has everybody been waiting? How many days has everybody been waiting to talk to another human about this book? So many. Did we finish like a week ago? Has it been a week? Like about
I
Yeah.
think
7
so.
days. Yeah, I lost track. But yeah, there is a lot. There was a lot, and definitely we missed a lot of it in our episode taping because there was just so much. So I'm glad that we're getting together to talk about the things that everybody most wants to talk about. And I know Lara was very interested in hearing our thoughts on Bryce's choices, which I know the whole world has a lot of thoughts on.
Yeah.
That made me start questioning how blindly I just follow my girl. So Jamie or Elena, whichever one, like, have you guys, like, since we've had some time to like reflect on the book, have you had any different feelings or same feelings? Like, how are we feeling about Bryce and her choices? It was definitely stealing.
Mind her stealing truth teller. I was fine with it.
Yeah, Larry, you're not wrong. Bryce did steal Truth Teller. You're very right. Um, we did feel bad for Az. I don't know. Okay, all right. Let's kick it off
I
with that.
didn't feel bad for us.
You did not feel bad for Az. Why didn't you feel bad for Az,
Yeah,
Lena?
back.
Yeah,
Like it's not like it was gone forever.
he didn't know that at the time, though. He might have thought his comfort dagger was gone. I now know who Larry's favorite ACOTAR character is. Az is definitely a favorite. And I also, yeah. Well, yeah, we all know who my favorite ACOTAR character is too. She did
Pam.
have a lot of secrets. Um, I was okay with it. I don't know. You guys know my thoughts on the whole half book cave scene. But I felt like Nesta and Az did not do the best job of being great friends to Bryce. Bryce also did a really bad job. But I felt like her stealing it was all right. How do you feel, Jamie?
Oh, similar. I knew even though she stole it, she was gonna return it. Because there was no way
Mhm.
ACOTAR was gonna continue without it.
No, I kept imagining like the next ACOTAR book with Az without his comfort dagger, and I was sad. Yeah.
Get another dagger. Like it's not like the dagger is special to like it works as a dagger. Like he doesn't know how to use it in a different way.
At least it doesn't seem like he does from what he said. He
Yeah.
knows where the pointy end is.
I love that line.
But now they've got both. So hopefully Nesta and or Az and or someone else can figure out how to put them together to create some difference over in Prithian. I think it's the hope. But yeah, I don't know. I think Bryce did what she had to do to try to protect her people back in Midgard personally. And we've also shared our thoughts about the extra cave scene in the extra chapters, and I think I might have felt a little differently if that scene was in the actual book, because that
Mm-hmm.
really showed a lot more of Nesta and Az being better people, like more understanding people that you might not want to steal a dagger from. But yeah, I think at that point Bryce had a good reason to want to get out. Um, yeah. Are there any other Bryce? I guess for some reason I'm just so biased toward my ACOTAR fam. I know, Lara. No. Oh no. You felt like Bryce was your enemy for half of the novel. I definitely didn't feel like she was my enemy, but I had a hard time with all three of them. I think. I know you mentioned that you felt like Az was being himself. But I don't know. I just felt like all three of them were being a weird version of themselves in that part of the book. And I don't know if it was like a language thing or what, but they were not my favorite versions of themselves
Wait,
in that
Nesta.
moment.
Where Oh, Bizarro World Nesta. Yup.
Yeah.
Who
I
was this girl?
At least for me, the biggest thing with Nesta that I had a problem with was her whole Midgard worm stance. Like, it seemed so strange to me. Like, Midgard worm is just a big old pest. Like, do we have to kill it? And we did, I guess.
And we had to
Um,
use the mask to do it.
yeah.
It was, I think I've said it, but it just felt like a plot device to use the mask in that
Yeah,
moment.
it did.
Just to show like what the mask does for then when we use it to create soul mech suits. Yeah, well, we all know that I like Feyre more than Nesta. Not that I don't love Nesta. I love, love, love Nesta. It's just I would jump in front of a speeding train for Feyre with no thought. I know. Lara, I know you have feelings about Nesta, and that is a different conversation that I cannot wait to have, but we have to finish our ACOTAR reread before we can get there.
I've warned them. I've warned them.
We've been fully briefed on your Nesta feelings, which I cannot wait to dive into. But yeah, at least for Nesta, like I did kind of feel like she was being true to herself in the beginning of the book. Like she's always it takes her a while to like warm up to people, sometimes a really, really long time. And she isn't good at like being really understanding immediately. So I felt like her being very skeptical of Bryce, and like keeping her at arm's length was typical Nesta for me. The whole pulling out the mask to kill a large worm, I had questions about, but yeah. Way too warm. You just wanted like Nesta to punch Bryce in the face.
I wouldn't be mad if that happened.
Bryce deserved to be punched in the face by Nesta. You heard it here first, folks. That's what we wanted.
In a dungeon, like it was hostile from the start.
All right, Angel says when Az was telling her to remember her family and friend to help her gain control when she was wearing the mask was heart-wrenching. It really was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I loved that moment. Again, did not know why the mask was warranted, but I think I said this in one of our episodes that I loved that moment of like trying to bring Nesta back to reality and like, it's okay, girl.
Lara, I can't.
Have gone in.
Lara,
This
yeah,
commentary.
can you tell us the whole order that
Don't
it
be
should have gone in?
sorry.
No, this is what I'm here for. What order should Nesta's family reminders have gone in your opinion? I have to
What's
pull my
it?
I don't think that I put a tab in that, so I would not be able
Either.
to help you find it. Um, at least for me, with the whole bringing Nesta back to reality, I literally laughed out loud when at the mention of Feyre, or at the mention of Feyre, like Nesta got extra angry. I was like, all right, we've still got some problems there that we need to we need to work on. Oh no.
Lying.
So I feel like we can't talk much more about the cave scene because Lara's gonna go off, and that is a whole other we're gonna have to have a whole 1 hour discussion about everyone's feelings on Nesta. If anyone wants to just like chime in on how you feel about Nesta,
Maybe we
feel
need
free.
like a Nesta therapy session.
A full Nesta there. Well, Nesta
A
also
whole
needs
Nesta.
therapy sessions, so we can
Have
we
you
can
been personally victimized by Nesta? Raise your
yeah.
hand.
Oh,
I do feel as if at one point or 10 points I was personally victimized by Nesta. Um you guys I told you that like literally on page like 20 of ACOTAR, Matt was like, she's my favorite character, and I was just like,
I need to hang out with Matt more.
She's also my least favorite angel.
oh yeah. Like, are we talking least favorite Mossverse character, least favorite ACOTAR heroine. Like, are we just ranking the sisters and she comes in third? Or is she just like at the bottom of every character that Sarah's ever written ever?
For me, she's just not my favorite.
Hale is right there.
Any character I've ever read, this
Did
is
you
a whole
say
therapy
Kale?
session. Oh,
This
up
is
there
a
with
hot take.
That is a-
Bellatrix. Wow. Wow, wow. We have said multiple times in episodes that we can spoil anything about Harry Potter. So if anybody hasn't read Harry Potter, now's the time to jump. Maybe an ACOTAR. I like it. I love this because this means we are going to have a killer therapy discussion when we finish Silver Flames. I honestly cannot wait.
A
I love
reread, yeah.
I love nothing more than finding people that have very different opinions of books because it challenges me to make sure that I don't just blindly follow Bryce and be like, my girl can do no wrong. It's like, okay, Brooke, maybe Bryce could have done something differently.
I think
um
it's a little different because I feel like I fell in love with her in book 1 and 2, and it's a
mm,
little different how she is in this one.
oh, for sure.
And just like kind of disregarding Hunt's feelings, like I wasn't a fan of that.
They had a lot of moments that they needed to work through in this book, and I feel like they did a pretty good job. Like I think that they kept working on their communication.
Yeah.
Lara, I totally agree with you. Bryce was not Bryce for like the first half of the book. I did not love her in the whole cave scene. But for me, I felt like the minute she got out of the caves and like handcuffed her dad, I was like, and we're back. We're back, everybody. Because I do
Was
love Bryce. Go ahead, Elena.
I feel like part of it was just the situation they were in the entire book. Like the first two books, it's more of an at-home moment where like they can have the cute little cuddly scenes, and this book didn't really allow for that, which I feel like a big pro of Bryce's character is being able to see her in those like just hanging out moments, which just weren't available in book 3 for the most part.
Yeah. And I mean, one of my favorite things about Bryce is just like how snarky she is. Like her like really witty one-liners. I don't know, they just like breathe life into me in these books. And it just wasn't really present in the first part, like while she was with Nesta and Az. Like I don't know if it was like Sarah trying to show like the weird language differences between how like their languages translated to each other, or if it was just like Bryce just wasn't on her game. I don't know, but she wasn't like the
So
witty badass that I love.
yeah, I think also like we're partially biased because of how we feel about the Prithian fam.
For sure. Yeah. No, yeah, ACOTAR is my favorite book series, so I feel similarly that it's hard when yeah, like Az and Nesta are doing something and I am automatically like on their side.
Or even like with Reese.
Yeah, oh god. Do you guys want to talk about do we have to talk about Reese? I,
It
I
was
don't know if
Which one? I feel like there's two parts.
I don't know if I can, but I will do it if people want to talk about
Has
Reese Sandbook.
everyone read the bonus chapters? I just
Yes.
want to make sure. Like
Oh,
Lara and Angel, have you guys read it?
yeah, Lair and Angel, we don't want to ruin anything for you. Um, oh, then good.
Let's
Perfect.
table that discussion then.
okay.
That's, you know what? No, I'm going to take that as an excuse. We do not have to talk about Perfect Man, aka Reese. Thank you, Lara. Because he's my favorite. Yeah, were there any other like specific Bryce choices that anybody wanted to go into detail about? Or is there anything else like totally different that anybody really wanted to like get off their chest? Or yeah, it wasn't her finest moment, Lara. Okay. Does anybody want to take how they feel? Like, do we still feel the same way? I still feel positively about her putting
Even
them in
the moment.
Prithian. I do. Again, am I just blindly following Bryce because I love her? Maybe. Someone convince me.
I feel good about it. I do think she should have tried to toss in whatever his name is, kid whose name we always get wrong.
The
Cooper?
Cooper, not
Connor?
Conrad.
Cooper. It's Cooper. Cooper.
Like, I do
Yeah.
wish there had been a way for her to, like, explain like, she's so good at making up nonsense, if she could have just come up with some nonsense for why Cooper had to be there, and she could have shoved him in too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason she didn't tell her parents is how her mom would have taken it.
There's a line in there that she says that if she'd brought Cooper, then her parents would have been um suspicious. So I appreciate that there was a reason, and I do think that it's a legitimate reason. Definitely not like her best choice, but I also think that like 80% of the reasoning behind what she did was to keep them safe. And it was like a bonus if she could get the mask. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you, Lara, like telling them, but here's how I feel like that goes, and at least for me, is like Bryce tries to level with them. Ember's not going for it. Randall might, but like there's no way Ember like listens to Bryce and is like, "Yes, okay, I'll go stay in the alien planet." Like I think that's what I keep telling myself is that like was it great? No, but I don't think that Bryce could have leveled with them. I love Ember, but there's no way she would have gone through with that.
I agree with that. Like, I don't think she would have
Yeah.
been on plan with it. Randall,
I think
maybe, because Randall's awesome,
Oh,
but
yeah.
wait, guys, does it get you? Like, the fact his name is Randall always gets me because it makes me think of the character from Monsters, Inc., who is not a good guy.
Wait,
I
That's
did
who?
the
not
only other Randall I
associate
know.
that. No.
Oh, the like purple alien? I've never once put the two together. I thought you meant like at first you were comparing him to Sully. I was like, because he's like big and burly, but also like a huge teddy bear.
No. No, the only other character I know of that's named Randall.
Oh my goodness. I'm afraid to click on this link, Clara, and have it explode. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine what that is. Yeah. No, I do think that Bryce could have potentially tried, but I think it's the age old of like the minute that the cat's out of the bag, the cat's out of the bag. And I don't think that Ember would have gone along with a plan to save herself while her daughter potentially died. Oh, I want to see it.
And so I think she thought if she died, like, it meant they lost. Like, I don't think she saw a scenario where they won and she died, which
Hmm.
clearly there was an option for that, as you see at the end. But so I
Yeah.
think she knew that them staying there was dependent on her living, and it was just I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are so right. And I mean like I think that in the moment that Bryce drops her parents off, that I mean like Reese is like rushing toward the portal and it's a very, very hairy situation. So I do think that Bryce is really lucky that it worked out as well as it did. Yeah. She took a chance. Was it right? I don't know. But it worked out. So that's good.
Like a,
Um,
they were being used as a bargaining chip, which kind of sucks.
yeah, and I think if it had been entirely using them as a bargaining chip, I would have a very, very sour opinion of it. But because it came down to her just being like, no, just please take my parents. No, it's not a random thought at all. I also was like, wow, where these beans come from? Like, where do we think they came from? Did Amryn make them? Like they're silver like she is? Um, where did they come from?
Where did they go?
Acort? Like, is it like the same tankers that made Lucian's eye? They grow out of holes in the ground. We have no clue, and we need to
What
know.
What's the purpose of them? Do they speak different languages, like, on the continent? Like, are there different civilizations? Like, do we know that about the world?
No. And that's why I think this is a convenient plot addition. that was needed, because I don't know about you guys, but I would have been absolute ripshit if they couldn't have actually communicated with each other for half of the book. It would have been awful.
Oh my god, we could have gotten another learning how to read scene.
Ugh.
Except learning how to talk.
I was just gonna say, like, how did people like theorize they could communicate when Sky and Breath came out, what, 2 years ago, and they had to wait till this one came out? How would they all be able to talk to each other?
Yeah.
Probably no one guessed a bean.
I never thought bean.
I feel like I just assumed that they would speak the same language, since like the overlap depended on them like stemming from the same population at one point.
Like derivative languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Lara, I also don't think that I really thought about it that much. And I think we've talked about how we thought that the first part of the book was going to be very different. So I think that I anticipated them like either like writing on a notepad or like figuring out how like keywords in each other's language, because yeah, I did not anticipate magical silver bean
I
thing.
need sword. This
Pointy end. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was a Deus ex machina of language barriers. I'm okay with it. I don't know. Did anyone feel like it was cheap? Like, are we upset, or are the beans okay?
pro bean.
Are we pro bean or anti bean?
It's better like having them be able to communicate. I don't know why they had to speak different languages. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. It was kind of weak.
We just think it was kind of weak for SJM. Yeah.
I think overall it was like a larger trend of there just being moments that just felt like they were there for the plot.
Yes.
Like the bean was there for the plot. Nesta having to use the mask against the worm felt like it was for the plot. Bryce not actually dying and Jessica giving up her life for Bryce felt like it was for the plot.
Yeah. Only 3 planets kicked out the Asterae. Oh, well. Has everyone finished Throne of Glass? Oh, Lara. That one came through. We did go into this saying that we were definitely not going to talk TOG until we warned everybody. So I don't want to go against that without proper warning. That was one of our theories, Angel. I think, yeah, within the last like 6 months, probably like 3 months ago, I don't know. Time means nothing. Sarah did announce that she has a 4th series that she's starting, but I don't know if there has been any confirmation that it's in the same universe. No idea.
Wink. Same universe, wink.
We do know that at least 2 of them are connected now. So it's possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah. Any other thing that anybody wants to talk about? Jamie, Elena? Anything that like now a week later you're like, oh my goodness, how could Therian?
I was gonna no, go on with Therian.
No, I happened to see a video of people just like absolutely roasting Therian and saying that they enjoyed not a thing about him in this book, and I was like,
what? Really?
Fish boy?
Oh, he tried his best some of the time.
Claire, I also love Therian.
I don't, yeah, well, it just like and because I watched the whole video, because again, I'm very interested when people have different opinions than I do. I love talking about it and seeing if I came to the wrong conclusion. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like they were being really unfair to Therian. It sounded like us at the end of Sky and Breath. I was like, but And like, I think sometime is the operative like word, right? Like he's not perfect, but I feel like this book he really tried. Like he was trying to redeem himself something terrible in this book,
The
and I
second
appreciated it.
half,
Yeah.
he was trying to redeem himself at least the second half.
Yeah, I felt like this
Instead of
whole book, he was like growing on me.
oh yeah.
Because
I
I
really
remember
liked him.
liking him when he first showed up and Elena gaslighting us for it.
What?
Oh my yeah, the first time Therian showed up, you were like, and introducing Bryce's actual end game, and I threw a fit. I threw an absolute fit.
That doesn't sound like something I would
No,
do.
not at all. Well, we could talk about if Therian was doing the most. He did a lot. I feel like he did a lot. And I did also appreciate everything that he did.
I also didn't hate him jumping on the boat
mm,
to Avalon because, like, the alternative was him. I don't even know what the alternative was, but it didn't seem good.
Yeah, I felt like it was he had like nothing else to lose. So like
mm.
why not? I'm gonna get hate on for that
It
anyway.
did
I
have repercussions for his friends, so like I do see that point. Like he wasn't doing the good work for helping out his friends. Like it was a very selfish decision on his part.
Yes, actually like you bringing that up, Angel. I think that it's a very similar situation to like what Bryce did. Like these both characters in doing these things like made judgment calls in the moment that could have had horrible repercussions, like absolutely horrible, and like specifically for other people. So I agree, like it was a huge risk that he took. I'm glad that he did it in the end, but I'm also not against all of his friends sort of being a little miffed with him for doing it. Just disappointed in Therian. Yeah.
So if you want to talk about actions that were dumb and pointless, Ethan trying to bring back Sigrid was so unnecessary. Like my guy was just like, it has to be a Fender Air. And I was like, please stop, Ethan. Like, please stop following this line of thought. It's not gonna end well.
I know, we were all like, but why?
The Ethan roast happening right now is my favorite. Um, I will play devil's advocate for Ethan because it took me the longest, I'll admit, to be on the maybe let's not bring Sigrid back train. I just feel like it was a lot. Like he definitely had some feelings for her. And really thought that she was the thing that was going to save all the people that he loves and the people that he feels responsible for. And then also on top of that, he had to kill her. Like had to and also didn't want to and accidentally did it. So that's like a lot. It's a lot of it's a lot. Yeah. Ethan
It's
does
just
have
like
a problem with letting go. Yeah.
yeah, like he kept bringing up Sunball Captain and
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, just reading the comments. These were so good.
I mean, Ethan definitely has an extra problem with people dying. Yes,
He
but
does have a big heart,
Angel
Angel.
says it perfectly. It's because of his and I think that's why I was giving him a lot of leeway because I was just like it's because he cares so much. That's it.
Reader that didn't really care that much about Sigrid, I was like, Ethan, stop doing the work for this girl. Like she would not do the work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it did become very obvious that Sigrid was not a good person. Yeah. Yeah. Sarah, like,
Um,
I would like to think that it was Sarah's great writing that kept me from figuring it out for as long as I did, because I feel like she did a really good job of disguising the ways that Sigrid was just absolutely awful. In like, oh, she has to fight and like, wants to save herself, or like, oh, she's had a really traumatic past and is like trying to figure out the world. So I like kept giving her the benefit of the doubt, but shouldn't have been. Shouldn't have been. Um,
Now where is she? Do we
now,
know?
now what, Jamie?
I said now where is she?
Oh. I don't even care. Is that like
But like she's probably gonna make an appearance again.
yeah, oh, for sure. You don't like make a Reaper,
Reaper.
and then just like not bring them back. She's got to come back.
Necessary out of nowhere plot twists. The Perry and Ethan matchup. Like what?
Wasn't expecting that.
How's everybody feel about Perry? Are we excited about Perry?
Perry.
I like
I
Perry.
don't remember her in previous books, but I
I
like her.
I
She
also
should
don't, but I think it's us. Like I do kind of like very briefly
Lara,
remember.
do not bring up the scent profile because Brooke will go off.
Oh my
no.
god.
Are we
Brooke's
talking
gonna
about
go
scent
off.
profiles?
Go on.
Scent profiles. She smells like strawberries and cinnamon, right? Did I remember
Yep.
that from 7 days
Yes.
ago? Okay.
I did remember that.
I've only been reading 3 other books since then, so I'm not sure if like they're all getting mixed up, but okay, Lara, real question. Is that an actual question? What's the scent about? Like do I have 45 seconds to go off? The scent profile
Ain't
stays
her
the same.
changes. No, it changes at one point. No,
Yeah,
it
it
does
said
change.
it was like really strong at one point, and then it
Yes.
dimmed.
But it stays the same. It's still the
The scent's the same.
so
But then Ethan wasn't sure that she took the antidote.
right. Do we know if she
Oh,
took the antidote?
I don't know. But there was also he said he smelled something that seemed familiar in her scent and then like it disappeared at some point. Like I do think it changed.
Like
What
it
are
has
the
something to do
theories?
with Omega or like with their mating bond.
Can you smell your mating bond if you're a wolf?
You can in
Yes.
ACOTAR.
What do you mean can you smell your mating? Elena, this is not your first SJM rodeo. I can also smell everyone's mating bond. I know that's not what Lara meant.
You could only smell it if they had hooked up. I thought it was like they hook up and then everyone's like
well, so I think it's like the red herring, right? Like, you know, there's like the whole it's just because, you know, they got busy. Like that's why. No, that's not why they each smell like each other. Like my friend. It's not why. Yeah, I mean like the scent profiles usually only come out to the person that they are mated to. I don't think we found a situation where that is not the case. Unless I'm conveniently
situation
forgetting
where that's
something.
not the case. You're definitely conveniently forgetting something.
I was
Can we not talk about
when-
it? Can we not talk about it in this episode? Or are you just not saying it?
I can't think of what it is. I just know for maybe I'm just projecting because you bring up scent profiles all the time.
I love the scent profiles. The one that I can say, because it's in this book series, is Rune and Hypaxia. But the whole
I was going on that.
thing is that because half of her scent is shared with Lydia. That whole book was a wild ride. I know we shouldn't talk too much about Sky and Breath because that was a while ago. But oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, Rune. Oh, Rune. He got there in the end. And I feel like the moment that he said the mates thing was adorable. And like
Loved
I
it.
think we all knew that's what he was thinking.
It was either the M word or the L word.
Yeah, it was like a little bit of both. A little column A, a little column B. Yeah. Oh goodness. So we like Perry. Do we have any theories? Like, does anyone have an idea of why her scent would have changed or why Ethan said like where he I don't that did he say like where he once saw an alpha, then he saw an omega again? Like or like she seemed to have gained power and then lost power in a span of days. And I don't know why. I honestly don't have a really good theory personally.
Adam.
Yeah, it could be the antidote, but my thought is that the antidote usually makes people stronger and like brings out like for Ethan it gave him his inherent like element magic and made him a lot stronger. So why would it be that if Perry took the antidote she then became an omega again? I think that's the thing that I keep wondering about is why that would change it. I don't know. But I like them together, and I want more scenes to figure out if they're truly compatible. I want to know.
Do you think him and Sigrid still have a chance?
God, no. Ugh.
Well, because like we came reading through this book and was like, oh, him and Jessica, or yeah, him and Sigrid.
We had a lot of thoughts about who Ethan could end up with. I just want him to be happy. Well, yeah, no Jessica now. Uh. Oh, are you just saying like never? Like Lara, at no point were you like, Ethan deserves Jessica. She is a god. Oh, I love Ethan. Oh no. He, on like page 3, I pegged him for being the person that Bryce ended up with, and then 10 pages later, the whole book fell apart.
Oh yeah.
In Earth and Blood, I should have said that. Oh, the Connor scenes were very emotional. Yeah. As much as Ethan needs to start getting used to people dying, it was nice that he got that closure finally with Connor.
After 3 books, it was finally nice to see.
3 books. It took 3 books for him to just be able to say goodbye to his brother, but it was really nice. Talking about the likelihood of Perry and Ethan and then Sigrid made me think of Hypaxia. And how do we all feel about Hypaxia and Celestina? Are we still thinking that that's a second chance that Celestina deserves? Are we hoping Hypaxia finds somebody better?
I hope she finds someone better.
Also hope she finds someone better. Like,
Yeah.
my boy Cormac is dead because of Celestina.
I'd like to see the progression. Like, I'd like to get an actual scene between Justice for Cormac.
Justice for Cormac!
Well, I know where
This
we're
is
going
the
next.
energy I need.
I'll give it to you, Elena. But yeah, I think that it would be nice to at least like see Hypaxia and Celestina together because we really haven't. Like, we saw them in a closet once, and then it's just all been like what people have said about them or what they've said about each other. But let's
They
talk
got
about
rid of,
Cormac.
like,
Oh yeah, no, go
I was
ahead,
gonna say,
Jamie.
like, if they got rid of all of like the hierarchy with the angels, then and they can finally be out in the open and be
Yeah,
themselves.
but does Celestina
Like, this would
deserve
be
her?
nice.
Mm,
No.
yeah, I don't know. I'd like to let it happen, but I would need her to actually prove that she deserves her because I love Hypaxia. All right, Elena, take it. Cormac, you just want to talk about how much you love him for 45 seconds? Like, I would also do a Hypaxia novella.
I mean, it wasn't really this book because this book he was dead, sad, and you kept like. I feel proud of myself because I've learned from other book series. Brooke always thinks people aren't dead, and then it really gets my hopes up. And this book, I didn't get my hopes up about Cormac, and I'm glad I didn't get my hopes up about Cormac.
Do I think he's dead now?
Do you
I
think
think we went
Lahava
in.
is dead now?
Jamie, don't hurt me like that.
Brooke, I don't know
She
if you guys know,
definitely
but Brooke was
is.
on like the longest train that Lahava is still alive.
I'm still not over. The longest train was a certain character in Throne of Glass that
Can't
she
talk
went
about
all the
it.
way to the
We
end.
can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it. We'll have a Throne of Glass wrap up eventually, but yeah, I don't know. I think I just don't care if Cormac is alive or dead, so I haven't really thought about it too much.
Same. I'm sorry, Elena, but
Yeah. Oh, I didn't really think about that. Hypaxia being the queen of Flame and Shadow. But yeah, she is. She's the ruler now. Lahava is a precious baby. I miss her so much. That was the hardest part. Was it the hardest part of the book for me? Yes. Yes, it was. That was the
Yeah,
hardest
that
part of
was
the
one
book.
of the scenes I think I teared up on because Lahaba and Danica was there. And we thought like, okay, Danica, we like her, she was done. She's not gonna make an appearance again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too,
Yeah,
Lara.
that was sad.
I like started crying when
Oh,
Jessica
you guys.
sacrificed herself, but it was not until we saw Lahaba and then I realized that for a whole 2 books I'd been hoping she was still alive and then she definitely wasn't. That I
Brooke,
lost
you
my
always
mind.
do it.
No,
You always do that.
I know, but sometimes I'm right.
When?
Lara, you need to tell us the story of what happened when you were crying.
Oh no. What happened when you were crying, Lara? I'm so afraid to know.
Baby. No, not that. I meant
I
when
keep
your partner came in and saw you crying uncontrollably.
Oh. um. Oh gosh. Lara, I'm sorry.
I still want more Jessica. Like I know who's someone said Hypaxia novella. I think I want a Jessica novella. She
Oh,
lived for
like a
50,000
prequel?
years. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
that'd be
long ass
cool.
time. I
Just
want
the
a
7
Jessica
book
7 book
series.
series. Hell yeah.
I love that. Um, I loved Jessica. She was like a really fun mystery. And I really enjoyed her character. Um, I didn't love her this much, but now I feel like I underappreciated her a whole lot.
Reading this makes me want a Jessica Apollyon like enemies to lovers romance, Addie LaRue style.
You can't ruin Addie LaRue either. You and your I'm gonna talk about the end of a book that no one that we haven't read yet. I mean, we have, but
Those are on everyone else's TBRs.
yeah, that's a good book
I
though. Go
didn't.
read
It
it.
was a casual mention.
Casual, right? You didn't ruin anything. But yeah,
Do you want to hear
that was
about Aragon?
no. Nobody wants
Thank
to hear
you,
about
Dad.
Aragon.
I was just gonna say, please don't mention Aragon.
That's an inside joke we'll let you guys in on. But in one of our episodes, and I don't remember which, Elena likened a scene to a like 2-minute summary of the end of Aragon, like how Aragon ended in explicit detail. And then Jamie and I just stared at her for a second and went, "We haven't read it." And I had to cut that whole part because obviously Elena ruined an entire book in the middle of talking about a
Please.
totally different book. So anytime the video jumps strangely, just remember it's Elena talking about something
It's
she
Elena's
can't talk
fault.
about. Which you've been great so far, by the way. I'm very proud of you for only bringing up stuff you shouldn't talk about in a very roundabout way. Oh goodness. Realizing that it is 9:15, I'm gonna ask again, Lara and Angel, have you both finished all of Throne of Glass? Oh, perfect. Okay, great. We'll be less careful now. But for anybody that is watching this in the taped version, all is fair in Love and Throne of Glass at this point. So if you have not finished the series, please turn this off. It is worth reading and not getting spoiled. But yeah, if there's anything Throne of Glass specific that everybody wants to talk about, if there's just something totally different, but now we can say how we feel about um, the world of Aurelia. Yeah. I have to
I
assume
feel
he's
like
in her family tree, like passed down through the
yeah.
generations.
Makes sense.
How do they know? It's a valid question that I've never asked Lara. How did she know? Um, um so Angel, you bring up a good point. This is a question to everybody. Did we ever really get confirmation which side the Galathinius line is on for Lydia, her mom's or her dad's.
Oh, her
It's her
dad.
dad's.
Her dad, he
Her
was an
dad's a
asshole.
stag shifter. Yeah, some dead guy. Yeah.
Elena, doing both audio work and text work simultaneously, I'm not capable. Yeah, I don't know. Like, we don't know who her dad was. Obviously some powerful dude, but I don't know. I don't think we know much more than that. But clearly Dorian's dad. God, I hope not. I still don't like him. Gross. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I pictured like Lydia's family just like passing down the family genealogy, like the big players like Brannon, like you know, you were descended from a great race and his name was Brandon.
True.
Elena, you just you and your theories. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
one of the twins have like the dark hair and the blue eyes, and we were wondering where that came from. I still don't know where it came from. And I did
No.
think Dorian at the time.
We have to remember that this is like many generations later. This is 15,000 years later. I'm pretty sure. All right, we can posit a different theory, but I think that one of Brannon's descendants went over to Midgard. And go ahead, Elena.
Hear me out.
I'm,
Hear me out about the timeline.
I got you. Go ahead.
So, assuming that Throne of Glass, Crescent City, and ACOTAR are all happening at the same time, like
Mhm.
since we know ACOTAR and Crescent City are happening at the same time, Brannon was only alive like a few thousand years before Aelin, not 15,000 years. It was like, say, 5 or 6,000 years.
Mhm.
So, how would Lydia have sons descended from Brandon if Crescent City has been like isolated for the past 15,000 years? Like they would have had to come over before Brannon. So unless Throne of Glass is somehow happening in an earlier time period than Crescent City, I just
I
the the
yeah.
math ain't mathin'.
Well, I think that's the most likely scenario is that unfortunately I don't think that Throne of Glass is happening at the same time. I think there's some sort of weird time travel-y stuff that's going on, and Lyra brings up the scene where Aelin does fly over Rhysand and Feyre during Starfall of Silver Flames, and I think it is unfortunately that Throne of Glass happened in the past, and I think that if we're going to see our Throne of Glass characters later on, it is going to be with some time travel magic, potentially with the use of a harp, is my assumption. But to answer, like, how did Brannon contribute to Lydia? I think that I got you, Lara. I think that the thing we have to remember is that for all intents and purposes, other than like some hell leakage, like Midgard has been totally blocked off for travel for like 15,000 years. So a piece of Brannon's line would have had to have been in Midgard before it closed down, theoretically. Yeah. Yeah, Angel, we talked about the whole Black Crown versus Valg collars as well, and that's why we had a fairly unhinged theory about the Princes of Hell, which could still happen, might not happen, didn't happen at the end of this book. But yeah, it seemed very specific that the Black Crowns are using a similar magic to the Valga collars. Yeah. I think the thing that I love is we learned so much in this book and there's still so much more. Like I don't feel like, oh, we now know everything and now it's boring. It's like, oh, there's there's even more now. There's more that we have to figure out in the next books.
Crazy because we ended on so many cliffhangers, and yet somehow the next ACOTAR book, I don't need answers to cliffhangers. I just need to find out who Elaine ends up with. Like, is that too much to ask for?
It might be, unfortunately. I hope it's not. I hope by the end of the next ACOTAR book we know who Elaine's going to end up with, but I don't know.
We don't get another Nesta POV. I'm sorry.
We are still in the middle of our ACOTAR reread, so I live under a rock, so can someone tell me what HBIC stands for?
Head bitch in command.
Thank you. Larry, you're too cool for me. Usually that's what we have Elena for. Like, Elena, what are the kids saying these days? What's the hip lingo everyone's using?
Teach us.
I don't know. One of Jacob's students was surprised that he knew what sus was the other day, so I don't know if I can continue.
We can also talk about how during the Super Bowl halftime show, Elena didn't know any of the Usher songs.
We can't out her like that. We can't. No. No. We're not gonna
I
run
knew
our girl
one
that
of
way.
them.
You're changing your tune real fast, Elena. The other day it was, I had no idea of any of those songs. Thank you, Angel. Fun fact, all three of us have matching mugs that Jamie got us when we were reading the first two Crescent City books. It's one of my favorite mugs. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, this is one of the ones my husband goes for.
Did we see an otter this book?
Oh, yeah.
We did.
So, okay,
What was
that
the
was
scene?
one thing we never talked about in the original episodes, because again, there was way too much and that was so small, but I have thought about it multiple times and I'm glad you brought it up because I loved that the otter pops up for Therian to give it a message to like tell the River Queen I want to talk. And Sathia like lost her mind. She was like, "Oh my god, it's so cute!" I was like, yes, the
That was
otters
really
are cute.
Yes.
I absolutely would. Your last name is Otter. Oh, I love otters. Now we just have another otter we love. A little otter doing a job. Right? It's like somehow cuter with them like wearing their little vests, like ready to take their little envelopes and like go earn their little coins. So official, so cute. Would read at least a whole short story, like from the point of view of a male otter. For sure.
Is it
Gerald. Oh, what's his name? Fitzy?
Wait, who?
Fitz.
Was
The
that one of
otter's
the
name. Fitzroy. Sorry, I got really
guys?
loud.
guys?
How do I not remember
There-
Fitz?
This is a game changer.
Who's Fitz? Angel, tell us. Oh, was he the one that was just like payment now? I remember that, but I do not remember him having a name. That was like
I remember the name.
70 books ago in real time for me. I'm so glad there's an otter emoji. Thank you for finding that, Elena. We will use that copiously in the Discord from now on. Otter emojis all the way. Yeah, that sounds right. I remember there being a pushy otter that wanted extra money. As he should. He's providing a valuable public service. What else? I don't want to keep people much longer than 9:30. I mean, like, I'm happy to talk about books for hours at a time. You don't see the like hour before we start the episode and like the hour after we end the episode, but usually we do a lot of pre and post talking. I don't know. What that was a very big surprise.
Random.
Yeah. I don't know
I'm
how I
glad
feel
she
about
popped up
Ariadne.
at the end again.
Yeah. I want her to be less random. That's how I'm feeling right now.
I was so hyped to get more strong like female characters, and then they all let me down in this book. Like Ariane kind of went off and did nothing. Sigrid was kind of a downer. Jessica died. Like, where are my strong female characters?
May
Sathya
I?
did a little bit.
What about Sathya? Can I propose Sathya?
I'm happy with Sathya. That is
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, No. Like, we
Just
needed
back to
more.
Yeah. Same, Lara.
Yes.
I also enjoyed Sassy way more than I thought I would. Yeah.
Angel, that is a really good theory about the scales on the front cover possibly being dragony. We also thought she was going to have a bigger part in this because there was some sort of weird sentence about dragon fire being really effective against like the Asteri or something, and then she just never popped up. Like we fought them with a bunch of bodiless wings and mech suits, and yeah. Heard and word. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know. I know there are a lot of people that were not enthused with this book, and there were definitely parts that I wasn't a huge fan of, or would have liked to have seen be done a little differently. But all in all, like there were so many great moments like that, like the whole like, yes, I read a 15-book series for a reason. There are
Yeah,
word
on
marks
her
on the cover.
arms.
On the
I
So
arm.
don't know if I'll be able to do it.
I don't have
It's
it.
on her arm.
If you see like on her arms, these are the word
Oh,
Me
that's
marks.
getting
too.
a better job.
It's because I don't have my blur on. Because people can look at my weird blank white wall and my unfinished bookshelf.
My life's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
same.
Angel, we talked about this for way too long in one of the episodes, but there's the scene in the Bone Quarter where Erd is holding the urn type cauldron thing above her head and has markings down her arms. So it's like all three of the Erd, cauldron, and word combined into one. The
Speaking of which, can we
cauldron.
talk about the cauldron? That's one thing that I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Because it makes me want to do another ACOTAR reread now that we have this knowledge about the cauldron.
We're only 2 books in. We've got plenty of time. We're just not going to be able to talk about
But we
this book
now
until
know
the
that
end.
it's an Asteri tampered with.
Yes, we now know why the cauldron breaks at the end of Wings and Ruin, which was very cool. The fact that they've buried little kill switches throughout the world, which does make me wonder what the kill switch is in Throne of Glass, because I do think they've been there.
I haven't been there.
Maybe.
Like, I don't think we ever saw evidence in Throne of Glass that the Asteri had been there.
Oh. I know what you're saying, Lara. Like the her like late. That's a good thought. I hadn't
They
thought
didn't
about that.
put it any further because they were too busy boning.
That was fine with me. No complaints here. That was a great chapter. Second favorite chapter in the whole book. Right, we can think about it now. I've read it 3 times. I've got some space. Yeah, that's a really cool theory about the light. Now we're gonna have to read carefully when we're finishing our ACOTAR reread to see if we can discern if the light could possibly still be from Day Court or if it's not at all. Because off the top of my head, I can't really think of a specific moment where Helion has a lot of light. Starlight and sunlight are very different. Yeah, you're totally right.
Point.
Damn! How exciting. Because our last couple Akamath episodes are going to be coming out soon, and then we're going to be getting started on Wings and Ruin, so we'll have a lot to look for. Girl, you and I could talk about Facean for like 5 hours and I wouldn't get bored. Never ever. Never ever ever. We know who your favorite ACOTAR couple is, Elena, and we'll get there someday. We'll get there someday. Anything else? Any final thoughts? Does anybody have like an absolute favorite character? Like, Lara, is it Jessica for you? Is Jessica just your absolute favorite? Or just yeah, it's Jessica.
IP.
I think Jamie and I have the same favorite character.
Ooh.
Elena, is yours dead? Is it still Cormac?
Favorite character?
Sometimes our favorite characters die, and it's sad.
That's fair. My favorite character in Throne of Glass is also dead.
Yeah, for
To think about this.
Oh, sad, Lara.
Oh, Blair, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
It happened again.
I'm so sorry. I hate now that you were hurting so much. I was crying because I was just like so thankful to Jessica for saving Bryce. I love her so much. I won't apologize.
I thought it was very
Um,
touching.
yeah, it was
She
so.
lived a very long life, and like I was understanding of her mindset and her perspective, but at the same time, I still wanted more of her.
I think too, like it was her planning for it for so long, like
Mm.
knowing that Bryce was going to do something dumb and not make it so that she survived, and she was just like, "Oh well, this is how I go." Yeah, and like who knows? Like Jessica might come back, or maybe like we'll see her spirit.
Great question, Angel.
Brooks
Um,
to go
well,
off.
so that's, I mean, it's not really a long conversation. The Book of Breathing, we do know at least like how it got to, we know how it left Prithian. We don't really know how it got to Midgard specifically. The one I'm upset about is that we still don't know how, yeah, it goes through the void. So there's a scene where Feyre chucks it into the void. How it gets from point A to point Z, no clue, but it does. Lara, yes.
This was
This
an
reread,
ACOTAR, right?
oh, this reread's gonna be so
I
good, guys.
forgot.
I hope you're reading Wings and Ruin with us. It's right at the end. Yeah, she gets
A
angry and
lot happens.
she
Okay.
chucks the Book of Breathings into the void. My complaint is that The Walking Dead is also in Midgard, and there's no part of Throne of Glass where we purposely get rid of The Walking Dead. Um, so I still want to see that get wrapped up. But now Bryce has all the books, so I'm hoping we're going to see them again and get a little more information about those. Yes. Yeah, we don't want to talk about the extra chapters too much because I want Lara to be able to read them. But I agree with you, Angel. Also, I have to say I was Team Ember before this. Like that just solidified it, but I've always loved like Ember's fiery attitude and just her like no nonsense personality. Like I've always really liked her. Randall's also great. Bryce has great parents.
I was just gonna say I'm not. I
You
didn't
don't like
really
Ember?
enjoy it. No, not
No.
really. I
Just
felt she was
does she like come on
very.
too strong?
She is a super mom. But yeah, I felt like she was coming on too strong.
Mm,
Well,
like
from the second book.
yeah. I will say that it annoys me like when she was fighting with Bryce and then they had to like send each other postcards to like make up. I was disappointed in both of them, but definitely disappointed in Ember for not having better communication skills.
I also
Ember
have my
is
own mommy issues, so there's that.
definitely overbearing. Let's all talk about our mommy issues. Yeah, so true. So true. Um, yeah. Um, what else? Is there anything
Oh,
else
we
anybody
haven't
wants?
talked about the Autumn King. Not that this had anything to do with like Throne of Glass. Oh well, maybe ACOTAR, but
Doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be about Throne of Glass. It's just you're allowed to talk about Throne of Glass now. Everybody's been warned. There was fair warning.
I'm kind of glad that I was right that he was still a bad guy. That he didn't have like some sort of redemption.
You totally called that. That was so good.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to figure out like how he's gonna redeem himself as a dad and like really liking those moments where he was like, I messed up. I was like, these are the first steps to progress. Nope. He's just awful.
There's a reason why Ember left him.
Yes. Yeah, he's just plain bad.
I feel like
Yeah.
you don't really come back from being abusive.
Oh no. No. I would also like to know more about Rune's mom.
These parents, like
Yeah.
Feyre's.
She is
Yeah,
still
she's
alive.
still alive.
She's just like kept in a like little townhouse that the Autumn King pays for. And we've never seen her. We have a lot of
I did see her. There was like a scene that Rune went to visit her.
oh,
Or maybe I'm misremembering. What's
I
with
don't
these
know.
moms? I know. My bad.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember a scene with Rune's mom, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen, and I just totally forgot about it. We're gonna have to go check, but that's up there. That one's at least. Boop, boop. Yeah.
Else.
I don't know. I really liked this book. I think all in all, I thought it was fantastic. Was it like my absolute favorite SJM book? No. Did I still love it and would read it again immediately? Yes, I absolutely would. Um, mm. But I mean, that's legit, Lara. Like, if people were doing things that didn't seem realistic to you or like in character, then that's jarring and detracts from your enjoyment. Yeah. ACOTAR is my favorite.
Name ACOTAR.
Um, I honestly could not pick a second favorite though. Personally, I would like you'd have to hold Truth Teller to my heart for me to
Different
pick.
too. They're all
Hmm?
so different.
Yeah. What about you,
I don't know
Elena?
a favorite series. I was just thinking about it. I think I have a favorite book. Like Kingdom of Ash is pretty high up there. Like I like the books that start getting into different POVs.
The different
I
POVs are good.
love different POVs.
Also, I'm a big fan of Larkin and Elide, so
Yeah. We're gonna have to do like a Throne of Glass recap, even though it's been a little bit. Mm, yeah. I love both Throne of Glass and Crescent City. Genuinely. Like if I had to pick like only one to like ever be able to read again, it would be a very, very hard choice for me.
I like them all for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, one
I
of my
think
favorite things about the SJM novels is the crossover. So right then and there, like getting rid of Crescent City would be really hard for me. Lara is Minorian, also your favorite side couple? Same.
yeah.
Same.
They're hot.
God, they're so good.
They're so hot.
I think they're
Guys,
my
it's a
favorite side couple.
YA.
Period. My favorite side couple, just like in all of
Okay, I know it's
SJM.
YA, but when we get to like the love scenes, I was very surprised. And I'm not a prude or anything, but I was just like shocked at
No,
what I was reading.
I don't think
On the
we.
beach, the one with Kale and what? I think I was blushing.
I was also going to say the shadow hands. Thanks for saying it for me, Lara. The shadow hands. The shadow hands. The shadow hands. Um, yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna have a Throne of Glass wrap up episode as well.
I think Throne of Glass would be my favorite series if it weren't for the first 3 books. The first 3 books take a lot to get through.
By 3, are you counting Assassin's Blade?
I am not counting Assassin's Blade.
Are you counting Heir of Fire? Oh, I love Heir of Fire. remember that Fey prince that I was really, really not excited to meet, and then we met him, and then all of a sudden I was like, just kidding, Past Brook is dumb.
I
I do
still have
remember.
that text saved when you first met him, Brooke.
I was so worried.
He was like,
I
"Oh, not
was-
another tattooed alpha hole."
I had finally gotten over her not being with Dorian and was like, okay, KL's a better choice. And I was like, no, not a third. And then it very quickly turned into, thank God there's a third.
Not another bait and switch.
Hot assassin man in the desert.
Oh, what is his name? Alias?
Something
Elias?
like that. I think, yeah, I think it's like Elias. He's hot. Very hot. Yeah.
The guy that doesn't talk?
Yes.
No, I think he does. I think he does.
He starts talking.
Yeah, he starts talking.
Yes. Yes, the son of the mute master. He was making eyes at what's her face? You know, that
Nightfall?
girl. Yeah. I always forget her name.
Didn't she kill his dad? Isn't she the full reason his dad is dead?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's the redhead.
Yes. Yeah.
She's like, was it the queen of the waste? Queen of
Yes.
something.
Yeah. She like has a part of the waist. But yeah, no, he's yeah, I don't know, I'm forgetting.
Who are you forgetting?
Assassin's Blade. Did we kill the meat master? He died, right?
The mute master. I think Ansel kills him. Yeah.
Does she?
She like brings in the people that kill him. I don't know if she actually.
Thank you, Lara. I know she kills the guy that she's been leading on, which was awful.
Oh yeah.
Full disclosure, Assassin's Blade was not my favorite Throne of Glass book. Faux show. I can't trust. Yeah, poor Aelin. Yeah.
Assassin Blade
liked the
on a
Assassin's
plane,
Blade.
and I cried.
I cried too. Oh right, because Brooke.
Wait, why did I make you cry?
No, we both cried at the Assassin's Blade, but you didn't because you were on team Sam Cortland is still alive.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. We only have one episode on Assassin's Blade, and you can go watch my in-time reaction. I didn't like it. I didn't think that it was her best book. I think some of the stories were good, but and I appreciated getting the knowledge of all of the other characters. So I am glad that I didn't skip it, but it was not my favorite.
I liked it better than Throne of Glass.
Mm-mm. Yeah. I just don't think that Selena falls asleep while the person that she's in love with is risking his life. It makes no sense to me.
The only thing you didn't like.
I won't apologize. It just made no sense to me. It was a very convenient reason for him to be dead, and it made me so angry because my thought was
She's
either
so young. Okay, let's not forget that. She's
My-
very, very young.
Oh, no, for sure. But my
And
thought
she
was
put her
either
trust in the wrong person.
yes. Oh, I thought you meant Sarah was very young when she wrote it. But
Wait,
I
you
mean-
hate Aelin too?
No, I love Aelin. Aelin's great.
No, Lara.
Lara, we're gonna need you to clarify. Hold on. Lara, I have a question for you. I just need to get this straight. You hate Nesta and Bryce and Aelin. Wow.
But she likes
Wow.
she likes Aelin and Rowan together.
Interesting. Okay.
If that helps. If that
Wow.
helps.
Is it because you also hate Rowan, so you feel like he deserves
No,
her?
she loves Rowan. Yeah, see?
Because I only want to slightly bring it back on topic before we eventually have to end this, which has been so much fun. Lara, can you, in very briefly, explain like what it is about Bryce that you don't love? Like, what is it in a 1 to 2 sentence elevator pitch that you don't love about Bryce. Because I don't know what I wouldn't do for Bryce. I'm just so interested. I liked Bryce pretty much before this book. Bryce's weird ass choices and complete disregard for Hunt's feelings in this book made me feel yucky. Yeah. Yes, we do have to remind ourselves how young these girls are. I was going to say women, but you're so right. They all start off as babies. Yeah. The only thing that I can say the only thing that I can say about Bryce is I feel like she does a lot of growing in this book and like realizes a lot of problems that she has, specifically like how she is very racist against the Fae and how she is not the best communicator. And I feel like she does so racist. I will not defend her. But I think that she does a really good job of growing. And working on her problems, which is one of the things that I love most about the characters that I love in Sarah's series is that they are not perfect, they have flaws, and that they continue to work on them. And it just makes it so relatable and realistic.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is why I
that's why I
love
wasn't
them.
like I didn't why I didn't like super love it or super hate it was because of Bryce's growth and how she changed. Even though I didn't like her actions and how she handled her situation with Hunt, she still apologized.
Yeah.
And then she, changed her tune about the Fae and decided to make some changes for a better world. Better world.
A better world. It's everywhere. Mm. Yeah. Maybe it was too rushed. Their growth. Personally, I didn't really see a lot of growth from Nesta, honestly, like growth in maybe how she felt about Elena does not want to hear anyone say anything bad about her favorite girl. Um, at some point, we're just gonna
Teach
have to mud wrestle
Nesta
over
to
it.
race though.
Oh no, I outed Elena. I just assumed that people know by now who our favorite characters are because we're very loud about it a lot. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Okay, hear me out in a quick elevator pitch. I feel like Nesta, well, okay, so this is very different because I really love Nesta's story arc over Silver Flames. So I feel like she does a lot of personal growth over Silver Flames. And I actually see her regress in the first part of Flame and Shadow, where she's like, again, not trusting people, but it's mostly Bryce. And like not letting people in a way that she's like learned to do with other people in her life. And I see her sort of like going through the same mini realization that like it's okay to let people in, it's okay to be trusting, and it's okay to make decisions that help other people, which was what she did for Bryce. She really went out on a limb for Bryce, but that's like what we see her do with Emery and Gwen at the end of Silver Flames. So same growth, but her like kind of doing it again in a microcosm with Bryce. Mm. I should have been reading it out loud because there's just silence while I'm reading this very insightful comment from Angel, which is that it was interesting hearing SJM say that Nesta was very much a part of herself and the journey to self-love, which I love that. And I know that Sarah was going through a lot before she wrote Silver Flame, so it was sort of a reflection on that. And that something that made Angel cringe was Hunt saying that he was able to wield a mask because he had her essence. Which, yeah. In a unpopular opinion, I'm going to say that I didn't hate it because it was very Karanami. And all right, I won't say we. I loved the scene where they like swapped their magics, to like become more of a whole together. But I'm also just like a disgusting sap, so
Yeah,
that's
I don't know if Angel or Lara felt or had like the Karanam vibes, but I think we talked about during our episodes that there was definitely some Karanamness going
yeah.
on.
They have doinked plenty before. I think my personal thought on why Karanam now is Bryce's added magic when she comes back. I think that like Bryce's
Power.
little 1/3 of the magic was Bryce's like 1/3 of the magic I don't think was enough. Um but I also like the similarity between Bryce and Hunt and Aelin and Rowan not being well, and it changes later on in the series, but like not being true mates, but like choosing each other and being connected in a different way other than just like fate deciding that they should be together. We're going to talk a lot about that when we have a Throne of Glass episode, because now we'll definitely do it. We promise it'll happen. We're gonna all have to brush each other up on on Throne of Glass, because even though we are still posting our Throne of Glass episodes, it's been a while since we finished it. So we're gonna have to do a quick refresh. Although I think all what, Jamie?
I just say that I love that Sathya said something similar. Like, don't touch him. That's my husband.
Yeah. I love Sathya. I
Another
did
reason
not.
I know I love her.
When she came on the scene, I was like, ugh, rando. And then all of a sudden I was
Yeah.
like, no, not like a
No.
forced marriage. And then immediately 2 seconds later, I was like, just kidding. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yep.
Was not upset one bit. Oh, he will. He'll do something. I don't know if it'll be the pit. I don't know what it'll be, but oh yeah. Yeah, she got right in there. I genuinely think that the two of them are endgame, and I love it. I'm here for it. Fingers crossed, because at the end of Sky and Breath, I was like, oh my goodness, Sigrid, can't wait until she and Ethan get married and have babies. And then that didn't happen. Yeah. I do love Therian. I'm so glad you love Therian, Lara, because I feel like that's an unpopular opinion, and I'm glad there's someone else. Yeah.
Speak for Lara, but I think she's always loved him.
No, I love that.
I have. Okay, she has.
We lost
From the
faith.
start, yep.
We lost faith at the end of the last book.
We did.
We apologized profusely in the last episode. He got our profuse apologies. He just made a mistake. Any final thing? Any final thing anybody wants to chat about or ask, or a theory you want to posit? There's so much, and I know we
I
like
feel like
only
it needs.
briefly touched on a few things.
No. I feel like it just needs to be said because we haven't talked about it, but like
Mm.
Rune and Lydia, they're number one. At least in this book. They carried it.
I feel the same way, Angel. There's going to be so much. I'm going to be like, wait, we didn't talk about that thing. Yeah.
We can keep the conversations going on Discord.
Yeah. And, yeah. I realized after I said that Minorian is my favorite side couple that I was probably being incorrect, and they're probably my second favorite side couple. There's something special about Rune and Lydia that just keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I purposely didn't bring up Rune and Lydia because I knew if I did, then the entire rest of the discussion would just be about them, because I would be like, wait, can I talk more about how Rune and Lydia did that thing?
We love them. But we can't talk about it.
No, because I'll just go off. Rune does have healing powers. That's one of the things I'm most excited for like anywhere from 2 to 15 years from now when we get the next Crescent City book. Like I'm excited to hear about how all of their magics manifest after the antidote. I was kidding, Elena. It won't be 15 years. Maybe 5.
What if literally you saying that made me have a shock? What if Sarah turns into George R. R. Martin?
She won't.
No, she won't.
My girl would
Please.
not do that. She won't pull a George. I believe in her.
I was gonna be
Yeah.
a little realistic and just like, cushion the timeline and say 8 years before the next
Ugh.
Crescent City book.
No, I'll give her 5. She's got 3 to 5. Otherwise, then I'm going to send her a weekly letter that says, "Hey, Sarah, do you need help? Do you need me to help? What can I do
She
for
still
you?
has the ACOTAR book. Then she has that new series, and
I will
then
travel to New York. Free babysitting? What do you need? Do you need someone to get your groceries? Like, I just want you to sit and I want you to write. I
because
just want you
what
to...
was the time or turnaround time between Solar Flames and Flame and Shadow? Like a year and a half.
Flames, then Sky and Breath,
Mhm.
then between Sky and Breath and Flame and Shadow is 2 years.
Oh. I think we'll
I
see
know.
something else in like a year to a year and a half. And yes, this was super fun. It is now 10 o'clock, so I feel like we should probably wrap it up. But honestly, we love talking about any and all of these books. So at any point, if you guys would be interested in doing another one of these, if you're like, oh my goodness, I thought of this, like we should totally do another live episode, just let us know. We'll do it. Like, what else do we have going on except constantly thinking about these books? Like, we might as well talk about them at the same time. Awesome. And thank you guys for joining us. This was honestly so, so good. Usually it's just the 3 of us chatting. So having a couple other opinions was fantastic. I had a great time. And yeah. Well, we will definitely do another one for ACOTAR once we finish our reread. And we will do another one for Throne of Glass when we finish the episodes for that one. But yeah. Thanks, guys. This was awesome. I hope you have a great night. Bye, everybody.